Links with Friends. It's now its own channel. We're going to start posting the news. I've said the word. We're going to start posting stuff like that there on that. There's a link for that. Check that out. Links with Friends.
And if you don't subscribe, you can't be a friend.
Ooh, get in on your parasocial friendships now.
Oh my gosh. But yes, more of this kind of stuff and specials every week.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the L1 Show, Link with Friends. Today is April 15th. It is halfway through spring. When is the end of spring? I feel like it's end of May.
No, spring just started recently.
Yeah, I thought spring starts at end of March.
Like the 20th.
Yeah. Okay, anyway, well, happy spring, everybody.
That's
Is it a happy spring?
Let's say that's the only happiness we have in this section, because today is just government, as you might have imagined if you're American and watching, not even if you're intentionally watching the news, but just being anywhere online.
Yeah.
And most of it, there's no point in us talking about it because it's going to be different by the time you see this. But
why? Why is this happening? Why is my life like this?
But yeah, I mean, it is basically all periphery to that topic. And let's keep one number in mind because it's a number we've seen a lot since January, and that is $1 million. That is the price of one ticket.
Tom's Hardware has the headline, Trump reportedly suspends the Nvidia H20 export ban plan after a $1 million dinner with Jensen Huang. Yes, it's exporting, it just doesn't make any sense. But also it's just $1 million, we'll just make that go away. That sounds good. There's also commentary hey, maybe we'll export or we will ignore tariffs on certain companies. And it's I'm pretty sure that violates the equal protection under the law thing, doesn't it?
So this wasn't it wasn't as transactional as it sounds. This is a pretty common thing for politicians to do. This was a fundraising dinner. I don't think he was the only one there, right?
Yeah.
There were some other people paying their millions as well. But clearly this discussion was, important. And
fruitful.
Yeah, got what he wanted. There's also some question about how long this reprieve lasts. And pretty much everything at this point, I don't know if anybody's sure.
But we'll have a story probably next week about how this wasn't actually a thing and blah, blah, blah. And actually, we're not going to do that.
But no matter what the time horizon is, that $1 million is a bargain for what he's going to make.
That's 3 GPUs.
And so more of the idea of electronics, where they're going to be built, where they're going to be shipped to, how's it all going to work? Some people say this is impossible.
The Verge has the headline that Trump believes the iPhones can be made in the U.S., according to the White House. So,
I mean, they can, but they're not going to be as cheap. And they're not real cheap to begin with.
I mean, do we want to turn the Southwest into an ecological wasteland? Because we can put all that down there. But we have a lot of building to do.
But if we take a step back from that, and we're talking about, it's oh no, it's global. It affects everything. If you pollute over here, it doesn't stay over here. Then we're admitting that our current lifestyle is totally unsustainable.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
And we're just talking about, hey, not in my backyard.
Yeah.
Right?
We are 4.5% of the world's population consuming, 60% of its resources?
Another comment was do Americans want to sit all day and screw in tiny screws? And it's so you're saying it's okay for the Asian people to do that. There's so much just under the surface in this commentary.
I think a lot of people would do it if it paid well.
Yeah,
but that's the big thing, right? Is it's not going to pay well.
Not only is it not going to pay well, it is almost certainly, should it come to America, and it might be not the United States of America, it might be North America or South America. But it's almost certainly going to be extremely automated to the point that you have, an Amazon warehouse-sized building run by 3 people and 1,000 robots.
It's going to be that no matter what.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the future. And Apple has stepped in, and their commentary on this is like, hey, you're accusing us of just going to the cheapest place, but let me tell you something. It ain't the cheapest place.
The headline is Apple building in China is unsustainable, according to Trump, could exempt some companies from tariffs, which is weird because you shouldn't exempt some companies from tariffs. It should be like...
For $1 million, you too can be exempt.
It's also true that Apple is rapidly moving their production to India because they're simply chasing the poorest nation who will do this for them. And certainly not coming here.
Now, Apple has automated some of the things like the unibody aluminum construction and like recycling aluminum. And so like Apple, for their part, to just get the ultra premium, this is different than anything else, have done some manufacturing innovation in order to do that. But it's still kind of in excess, don't you think?
And DOGE, they're still out there. They're still revolutionizing things in the government.
Ripping and tearing.
And if anything goes wrong, they're definitely taking the blame from now on.
Social Security website crashes blamed on DOGE software update. The Department of Government Efficiency. It's like, we're going to make this better. And it's like,
X'd out. Twittered out.
Might be working on a dying patient there.
They did at least back off on turning off the phone lines because it would have forced a lot of elderly people to go to a physical office, which would have been terrible.
And we have recursive auditing now. We're auditing the auditors. Where does it end?
Elon Musk's DOGE is getting audited. The Government Accountability Office, the GAO, is going to look at how they've handled data of a number of federal agencies, according to sources and records reviewed by Wired. This doesn't talk about the IRS, though. That's more troubling. That's in a different article. Because it's like, we want access to the IRS data. And it's like, you realize that the IRS has never shared data with anybody? And like Nixon was doing that. And then we got a law to stop Nixon from looking at IRS data to weaponize it. Like, have we learned nothing?
Yeah, we've learned that $1 million is whatever you want. But Elon Musk's $1 million, he's probably given more than that, but he got way more value than anybody else, and he just keeps getting value.
Car safety experts at NHTSA, which regulate Tesla, axed by DOGE. So this article, yes, that's the headline. Yes, blah, blah, blah. But also, car safety regulations are why we can't import cheap cars from other places. It's because they don't pass the safety regulations or
and fuel
or emissions or
economy. Yeah. Which once again, okay, let's think about this, right? We need to stop pollution in America, but we all agree that pollution can travel. It's very mobile. But we're going to let them build the iPhones over there in a way that couldn't possibly happen over here because it causes way too much pollution.
I was just thinking about, remember the war on leaf blowers? Because leaf blowers use incredibly inefficient engines. It was like, oh, we can only have electric leaf blowers instead of gasoline leaf blowers because of the fuel efficiency. Some of the vehicles like that are not as fuel efficient as modern ones really are actually fuel efficient. Like, it's not really fair to compare them to like the leaf blower. It's like, okay, the leaf blower is so inefficient and makes so much pollution. I could maybe get behind that. But the little small trucks don't pollute any more than vehicles of the late 90s and early 2000s, which was not unreasonable.
And again, that $1 million, boy, the ROI may be historic in how much it's getting, but I think we got to be fair here. They are the best. Objectively. Yeah. Who else is doing it? Really?
With new contracts, SpaceX will become the U.S. military's top launch provider. So they're getting 60% of the contracts valued. What was it? The monetary breakdown here is really interesting. 60% of the launches at $5.9 billion. There's 29 missions. But the ULA only has to do 19 missions, and they get $5.4 billion. And Blue Origin we'll get some 7 missions worth approximately $2.3 billion. That really seems like the federal government is offering a lot more margin to the other 2 companies. It's like, please don't make SpaceX the only game in town.
Well, I mean, if he's, Donald Trump's bro, should throw him a discount, right? Should be getting it at cost.
They already get so many subsidies already.
It is funny that Elon Musk tweeted is like, 60% may seem really good, but these other 2 companies can't even do what we can do. It's just like,
that's true.
That is true.
We've seen the evidence.
They did reserve the right to reallocate missions to other companies should one of the companies run into trouble. So, like, if Blue Origin has problems, then it's going to go there. But also, only 29 missions. I mean, it talks about special mission support and blah, 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 but just getting a payload into orbit is got to be, less than $1 million now for Musk? Like, certainly less than 10. That's quite a profit margin.
And the federal workers are living in just an ocean of paranoia. Is your department going to get cut? Are you going to be targeted as an example of waste? And now, another fear.
Federal workers say they're being watched by AI for saying anything bad about Trump or Musk. This is even if this isn't true, this is a preview of all of our futures. Like, you can point and laugh at this, or you can just say how horrible this is, but this is coming everywhere. There will be AI agents on our phone titling on us if we do anything, unfederal credit like.
And yeah, again, unconfirmed. I think this is just suspicion, but we know that Elon Musk has done this in his other ventures.
We know there are federal contracts to monitor social media for sentiment.
So it wouldn't be shocking. And so now things are being looked at for waste and churn and, good old boy nonsense that doesn't actually do anything. And some people may be panicking a bit.
The Reuters headline is Pentagon is going to end $5.1 billion in contracts with Accenture, Deloitte, and others. Okay, it's hard for me to have a negative opinion about this because the only the direct experience I have with Accenture is them bidding on a contract for $120,000 and actually getting it done for about $35,000 and then suing when the federal government didn't award them the contract.
Yeah, that's for sure. A bunch of stuff we don't need. That's just revolving door stuff right there. And another, I probably should have sorted this one with the Musk story because the monitoring is happening. And it has been for about 30 years, maybe 25, 24. But it's happening, and now we want more and more control.
The U.S. says it is now monitoring immigrant social media for antisemitism and probably a lot of other things.
Yeah, I was going to say, the headline probably makes it sound a little less terrible, to be honest, but you should really just cut that part off and just monitoring social media.
All the talking points were about that, though.
Yeah.
I would be actually a little bit happier if it was just like we're monitoring for something dangerous, not this specific thing.
Yeah. It's like, oh, this person, is there a field in the database that is internet troll, :true? And it's like, oh, this person's completely harmless. He just likes to troll people online.
But
Because if there's not, then I wonder about the efficacy of this.
For a while now, you've had to turn over your social media accounts. Not your passwords, I don't think, but just give them all of your social media accounts to get into the country. And
they'll just go to Musk and be like, what's up?
Yeah, I've said this before, I don't have any, so would they ever let me in? They would think I'm lying about it. This is just The Verge has this new thing where they recognize a tweet should not be the basis for a news story, but they want to do it anyway. So they have these little quick take things. But this is just a reminder that this is probably coming. If you want to talk about surveillance, this is going to be take the surveillance to the next level and then be able to do something about it.
The Verge's headline is Take It Down Act is one step away from passing. Trump has already indicated that he would sign it. So the Take It Down Act we've covered before. It's pretty terrible. You should look into it. But it's like the DMCA takedown notice on steroids.
But it's not copyright related.
No, it's
just I don't want you talking about it.
You hurt my feelings. So
I'm not sure the rule of law really. It's like we hold these truths to be self-evident. All are equal before the law, kind of thing. Doesn't seem to be playing out that way.
You know what would make you more equal if you're worried about that? $1 million.
$1 million dinner. We got a new Patreon stretch goal.
It's so easy. Just have $1 million to give.
And we are worried about China, and maybe more than ever, because, oh boy, that hot war seems like it took a couple of clicks forward in the past week, didn't it? But that is, it's not just the chip technology that we're worried about.
China's biotech advances threaten U.S. dominance, warns a congressional report. So they're figuring out not just, DNA and all the other stuff, but also signaling pathways and monoclonal antibodies and all sorts of fun, interesting things. And so we're to respond. It's like we need to make it easier to test drugs and do stuff here. We need human testing like now.
And guess what? We paid for a lot of that. Boy, that seems a little short-sighted, doesn't it?
Yeah. Remember when?
Isn't there a tariff coming on pharmaceuticals too?
Well, I mean,
that's who knows. By next week, maybe that'll be a thing. Maybe not.
It's hard for me to imagine that's anything other than something to stop people from importing cheap insulin from Canada.
You think they paid $1 million to stop that?
Remember when Elon Musk tweeted that he had funding secured and he got in all that trouble with the SEC and blah, blah, blah. And then the events of the last week are just like, everybody get ready to buy. Just, what is this crazy world we live in?
Well, this crazy world we live in, if you're in the housing market or, God forbid, you're renting, you will have noticed that it's unaffordable. And maybe one of the reasons it's unaffordable is because of price control. But no, they say that's not price control, even though they advertise that it is.
RealPage sues California city officials over rental algorithm ban.
This is the killdozer bait for the week, because the reason that they're suing them is because they say it's against their free speech.
They want to be able to tell landlords the maximum amount of money that they can charge.
They say that this is an intentional campaign of misinformation. And it's not price fixing. It doesn't have anything to do with that. But then they point out that they had promotional material that's like, get the highest price. And that's what the software does.
That's their free speech, though. That's their defense, is that they're allowed to say that.
But it's misinformation.
I meant to bring this book. I was going to be like, look, I got the book.
Oh, did you get it?
I got the book.
Why would you do that?
I don't know. Just
look at the thing I have.
Visual props, just.
And yes, so we are talking about the new book from the, what was that girl? Sarah Wynne Williams, who was an insider at Facebook, and she said a lot of bad things.
Careless People is the name of the book, and the headline is Lawmakers are skeptical of Zuckerberg's commitment to free speech. They urge Meta to stop silencing the whistleblower, that's her, and come to Congress and tell his side, because this book is pretty damning.
Is he going to wear a shirt with his name on it this time?
I also like this article because it's like, Zuckerberg is whatever he needs to be to, about the accretion of power. It's like he can be an MMA fighter or he can be a whatever. It's like, okay.
Yeah, so she was testifying in front of Congress, and she basically said all the things that she said in her book. And Congress is like, well, he should come here and answer for these crimes. I don't think he will.
It's not even crimes so much as it is just weep for the future of humanity. Okay.
And we've learned that AI really, really, really wants to solve the problems. It wants to get the digital endorphins that it's been designed with, and it will do almost anything, including cheat. We've seen that in benchmarks and in other responses it's done. And some people are like, wait a minute, are we putting this in charge of banking?
The headline says that the Bank of England says AI software could create market crises for profit. So it's like the algorithm looks at the stuff that's going on. Now imagine if, I don't know, there was a tweet or something that moved the market $3.5 trillion. What if that tweet was AI generated? It's like, this is everything described in this article literally already happened last week. It already happened, and it had nothing to do with AI. It was just like, wait, you mean if I just say random things into the ether?
Well, if you do, no one cares. But if you're the president of the United States, people care a little more. That
was fun. It's like, line go down, line go up, line go down, line go up.
Don't look at your 401k. I got a message that was like, don't look at the market. Don't look at anything right now. Got an email.
Well, if you do react to it, you can't react to it because you don't have control over that. But if you did react to it in the last couple of days, chances are if you went emotional, you just got burned at every
Yeah.
pivot.
Yeah.
That's why they say don't do that. And they also said don't do this. In fact, we had all sorts of dystopian fiction and stuff to warn us that this would be a terrible idea and we really, really shouldn't do it. And as soon as we got the capability, we're doing it.
The Guardian's headline is the UK is creating a quote-unquote murder prediction tool to identify the people most likely to kill. And as we saw with something as basic as software to manage the till at the Postal Service, they're definitely going to get this right. Remember the postal operators that the UK put in jail for stealing money, and oops, it turns out somebody doesn't know how to handle floating point numbers? Remember that? Imagine this.
They really got a lot of pushback, as you can imagine, and they were just like, oh no, this is nothing like that.
They changed the name away from like murder prediction tool to like, I can't remember what it is now.
The new name is ridiculous. Oh yeah, okay. We went from Homicide Prediction Project, which describes what it is, to sharing data to improve risk assessment, which has nothing to do with what it does.
George Carlin's reanimated corpse is coming for them.
Do you think this would flag Raskolnikov from Crime and Punishment?
They couldn't really conceive it, right? I mean, but yeah. So this is. They didn't even really describe exactly what goes into it, but there's like mental health stuff in there.
Special categories of personal data, health markers.
There's
like significant predictive power is what it said. It also included things like race and gender.
There's so much warning in stuff from like Asimov and George and Harlan Ellison and I mean it's like literally don't do this. It will end badly. And like again, software to just manage the cash drawer, you can't get right. And it severely negatively impacted a lot of people.
This is bad news for all the weirdos out there who have off-putting vibes. People, they're gonna flag you as a murderer in their system just because you're a little weird.
Yeah, basically, if you're just, if you don't match the pattern in any way, they're going to be put into a special box for monitoring, for AI monitoring.
And we're all, if you're watching this program, chances are that means they're coming for you. Like, how do we stand up and just be like, no, I'm different, but I'm not dangerous?
And the UK may be doing something good after, the worst decision that you could make. How about a decent one?
UK bans fake reviews and sneaky fees for online products.
So this is like any kind of added on fees or charges, surcharges, whatever. They're going to require that to be in the final price of the product. Now, the fake reviews thing, that one's a little bit, I don't understand how that's supposed to work, because the seller or the marketplace is responsible for stopping fake reviews. And you can get in trouble if they find one. But how would you know? I could maliciously just blanket your site with fake reviews. Then you get in trouble.
I guess you'd have to do like Newegg does, and it's like verified purchaser.
Yeah, probably where we're going with that. Maybe not the worst idea.
Although a lot of the Amazon sellers will give you a coupon code if you agree to leave a review of their product. And so it's just like...
I hate it when I go to like... the hardware stores are the worst for this. Like Lowe's and Home Depot, if you look at reviews for some of their stuff, it'll always have like the marker at the top that's like, so-and-so paid me X amount, or I got this product for free, and it like flags it so you can tell that it's probably just marketing.
And it also reveals the scope of how much they do that.
Yeah.
There's a lot
like
of them.
every review on stuff at Home Depot is that way.
There's the local place that has edamame is like free edamame if you leave us a 5-star Google review. And it's like, okay.
You're like, all right, I'll do that.
Yeah, it's delicious.
You should leave a 5-star review, but make it really negative in the text. And Apple, we've learned, the UK came up with the, what was the name of the act? Was it the digital markets or no?
It's the most dystopian thing you can think of.
Anyway, they want to look at everything. Encryption is not allowed because then law enforcement can't just peruse all your stuff. Apple has said no to that and in fact pulled the whole program out of the UK in retaliation. So all of that was going on behind the scenes. They were negotiating, And oddly enough, no one's allowed to look at it.
UK effort to keep Apple encryption fight secret is blocked. And the reason for this is because your average citizen in the UK would be appalled if they knew what was going on. It's literally the King of the Hill meme where it's like those kids would be really upset if they could read, Bobby.
So now you can look at it, or at least you will eventually after this all shakes out. And I bet it's going to be pretty damning.
Yeah.
I think we'll probably have some articles to talk about when that happens.
Yeah. It's a level, I mean, anybody that looks at this and understands what encryption is meant to do for you, I can't imagine that they would come up with, like, I'm just running through every mental scenario. It's like, I can't imagine any scenario where they would look at that and say, this is a good idea. I mean, Salt Typhoon, like this whole Salt Typhoon, it's like, oh, we'll build a backdoor in our stuff since like the 80s. I mean, it's evolved since then, but it's terrible. It's not functional. It's just, it's not only is it poor design, it literally cannot be secured.
And, you know, everybody's mad at us. And they're trying to think of ways that they can retaliate, but the whole trade imbalance thing somewhat limits them. So France is getting creative.
The Politico headline is France suggests targeting big tech's data use in response to U.S. tariffs. I'll give you a better one. Just target U.S. intellectual property law. It's like, oh, you want to pirate U.S. movies? Go right ahead. Circumvent copy protection? Sounds good. Make it happen.
Unrelated. This article, they found a screenshot of Facebook from like 2008. It's like a bright blue link.
But the laptop doesn't look that old. It's funny because, you know, it wasn't just France. They were like also talking in the EU about this. And they were like, hey, you know what we should do? We should change the whole tax code so their tech companies can't do it. And Ireland was like, no, no, we cannot do that because they have a special deal.
Well, they have a special deal, but a lot of Ireland's economy depends on that, you know, 0.5% of tax tax rate income, right? I mean, isn't that the whole problem? It's just like, how will they make up for the shortfall?
That's what we should be onshoring. Get that money back. And we've learned that Italy is going to do absolutely anything to protect that football. They do not want it streamed, but it turns out that might have been a bit of a Trojan horse, because that's not the only thing that they want to control.
Massive expansion of Italy's piracy shield underway, despite growing criticism of its flaws. Yeah.
So it was supposed to be for online live streams, and they've got a lot of the italicized paragraphs here. It's going to be everything, and they're going to look at everything, and they're going to control everything. The VPNs and DNS must poison in order to respect this. And they have, 30 minutes?
Yeah.
30 minutes to dispute it.
Italy is fast headed down the path of the UK as well, and that there can be no end-to-end encryption.
And China, obviously we now have the massive 100+% tariffs, and everybody's angry. So now it's the people that will suffer.
China to restrict U.S. film releases after Trump's tariff hike, which there was another one today. Woo! Well, at the time we're filming this, not the time you're watching this.
Yeah, who knows what's happened at the time you've...
Maybe we're in that hot war by this time next week. Who knows?
It's funny that Minecraft movie came out, which was somehow a hit. I can't imagine that. But it had massive Chinese box office. It would not have been the hit that it was without the China market. So now that is just going to be gone. But it's interesting. It doesn't sound like it's a blanket ban. It sounds like China's just going to decide movie by movie what comes and what doesn't. There might be some $1 million payments.
You can release it here for $1 million.
And TSMC, they are our bros against China, but are they? They were deceived, and maybe they were deceived, maybe they weren't, but it's going to cost them probably.
Tom's Hardware's headline is TSMC faces a $1 billion U.S. fine for making chips for blacklisted Huawei. So this was an intermediary of a subsidiary, and that's who they were selling to. They didn't look too closely at it. So it wasn't like they were selling directly to Huawei, but that's not good enough. It's like you got to know your customer. Here in the U.S., that's sort of an oppressive Orwellian thing where if you have more than $600 in your bank account, all the details are shared with the feds, which is insane and also done under the veil of secrecy.
Now, this is a per offense fine. So to get to $1 billion, that means they sold a lot of those chips, which explains why, like DeepSeek and all that stuff.
It's so good.
Yeah. How are they doing it? This had something to do with that, probably.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of computer scientists coming out of China, like a lot of really good computer scientists coming out of China. Like that's fine. I just wish that whatever Machiavellian games are being played, just let the computer scientists run free. Just let them go and make society better for everybody. We don't need to. This other stuff that's going on is just ridiculous.
You think that's happening? Look at the computer scientists running free in America.
We're suffering.
Are we feeling good? Did you read that book, Careless People, and think, yeah.
Sam Altman. Let's let Sam Altman do whatever he wants. Guys, he's going to raise all the boats.
Yeah, if you look at the computer scientists that have been harnessed by the Zuck and then the output from Careless People, it's no wonder, if that's going on in China, it's no wonder all these Chinese computer scientists are doing such a good job on other things that they're working on.
We will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.